Chicago now. Let's go there. President Trump's immigration crackdown escalating with federal agents swarming an apartment building on the south side earlier in the day today. Said they were searching for members of a violent Venezuelan gang. NewsNation's Ali Bradley is on the scene, the Chicago area for us, and joins us now with more. Ali, what's the latest from there today?
Yeah, hey, Connell. So we were there for this overnight operation with hundreds of federal agents and officers as they descended onto this apartment complex in Chicago's South Shore neighborhood. Now, it was the biggest operation under Operation Midway Blitz to date, and they actually had some very specific targets. So intel and groundwork actually led 300 federal officials to that apartment complex. Some even rappelled down from Blackhawks onto the rooftop in order to help secure that perimeter. Now, they were searching for suspected members of the violent Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. Of course, TDA has been designated as a terrorist organization under the Trump administration. Now, it was the biggest show of force that we've ever seen on the ground here. We had agencies, FBI, Border Patrol, ICE, and ATF all involved here, and they were all looking for targets in that same exact building. It was a 5-story building. It was a tall task for them, and anything could have gone wrong. But luckily, the operations went pretty smoothly. Preliminary reports show that about 30 illegal immigrants were arrested in this operation, some of them suspected Tren de Aragua. Now, we talked with Chief Gregory Bovino, who's running the operations on the ground for many of these ops in Chicago, and he had some words for people that are pushing back against his operations. Take a listen.
How about you live in the apartment next door to Tren de Aragua members that are trafficking and prostitution, guns, drugs, and taking advantage of American citizens in a violent way? Why don't you live next to them and then see how much of a Gestapo or a Nazi we are?
Okay, so Connell, it's important for our viewers to know that some U.S. citizens were also living and squatting in that apartment complex, and they were actually held temporarily while agents and officers went through to clear that building. Chief Bovino says it was for their safety and also for the safety of the officers, a similar move that we saw while Secretary Noem was here earlier this month when 2 U.S. citizens were temporarily detained during that operation as well, Connell.
All right, Ali, let me talk now about this facility, this Broadview, Illinois facility where you are, and you've been before when some of the protests broke out. I know the leaders there were speaking about the use of force over the weekend. NewsNation was covering that closely as well. What did we find out today?
Yeah, so this facility, Broadview facility, is where those that were arrested last night were actually taken to. And we heard from community leaders earlier today who are actually bringing 3 separate criminal investigations in response to DHS's Operation Midway Blitz. So here's what we know. They're condemning the agents' what they call excessive use of force during the protests out here on Saturday. Officials say first responders were also hit with tear gas. They were also hit with pepper bullets while they were here on the front lines. And now they're asking DHS to cooperate in their investigations. Take a listen.
They saw our officers, the people they have staged on the roof. They saw our officers. We have total uniforms on, like you said, and for them to still disperse those type of chemical agents is very disappointing.
Now, Connell, this comes as Governor Pritzker says that DHS actually sent out a memo, a request to the Department of War for 100 troops that they can deploy here in Chicago. The governor vehemently condemning that move, saying what Border Patrol, what ICE is doing around their communities. He says it's not making the community any safer. Connell? All
right, Ali Bradley's in the Chicago area for us today. I want to move. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.